Your mind is like a cup. If it's already full of worries, of fears, of yesterday's mistakes, nothing new can ever be poured in. And yet, most of us spend our lives overflowing, drowning in our own noise. But here's the thing. Clarity isn't found by cramming more in. It's found by letting things go. This is the story of Daniel and how he discovered the power of an empty mind. Daniel wanted to build something meaningful, a business, a life that mattered. But every time he sat down to start, he froze. Not because he lacked talent, but because his head was a battlefield. His thoughts chased him endlessly. What if I fail? What if I'm not ready? What if people laugh? It was like trying to run a marathon while dragging chains. And maybe you know that feeling too. You want to focus, but your brain keeps handing you yesterday's regrets, last week's arguments, next month's fears. You're not thinking, you're recycling. And it's exhausting. One night, Daniel lay in bed staring at the ceiling. His body was tired, but his mind was louder than a crowded marketplace, thoughts bouncing everywhere, the past replaying, the future fast-forwarding. And he realized something painful. He couldn't remember the last time his mind was silent. Not calm, not focused, just silent. He felt trapped inside his own head, and the more he tried to think his way out, the more tangled the web became. That's when life forced him to pause. The next morning, Daniel wandered outside, heavy-eyed and restless. His grandfather was sitting in the garden, quietly sipping tea, no phone, no TV, just breathing, just being. He collapsed into a chair and muttered, "I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm trying so hard, but my head feels like it's on fire." His grandfather chuckled softly and said, "You're trying to plant seeds in a field already choked with weeds. Empty it first, Daniel. Clear the ground. Only then will anything grow." Those words hit him harder than any motivational speech he'd ever heard. Empty first. Create space. And maybe that's the truth you need to hear today too. Daniel didn't transform overnight, but he began small. He cleaned his desk, not just the papers, but the mental clutter they represented. He turned off the endless notifications that screamed for his attention. At first, it felt uncomfortable. Silence always does. But slowly, he realized something powerful. The more he emptied his mind, the more room he had for the thoughts that actually mattered. Instead of replaying his failures, he asked new questions. Instead of comparing himself to everyone else, he started creating his own vision. And for the first time in years, he wasn't just surviving inside his head, he was living outside of it. Think about your own life for a moment. What's filling your mind right now? Is it anger at something you can't change? Fear of something that hasn't happened yet? Or maybe it's the constant buzz of other people's opinions drowning out your own voice. The truth is, your mind will always try to hoard things, memories, fears, mistakes, but you don't have to carry it all. You can choose to put some of it down. And when you do, here's what happens. Space appears. And in that space comes clarity. Ideas you couldn't access before. Courage you didn't think you had. A vision of who you could become, uncluttered, unshaken. Daniel's journey wasn't about adding more books, more hacks, more noise. It was about subtraction. Every day he asked himself, what can I let go of today? The regret he kept replaying, the toxic voice he kept believing, the fear that never belonged to him in the first place. And as the weight lifted, he discovered something beautiful. His best thoughts had been waiting underneath the noise all along. That business he wanted to start, he built it. Because now his mind wasn't his enemy, it was his ally. That confidence he thought he'd lost, it returned. because silence had given him space to hear himself again. So I ask you, what's in your cup right now? Is it so full of yesterday that there's no room for tomorrow? Because life won't wait for you to declutter. Opportunities will pass, relationships will fade, dreams will wither if you never create the space for them to grow. But the good news is this: you don't have to fix everything at once. You just have to begin emptying. One thought at a time, one fear at a time, one old memory at a time. And in the silence that remains, you'll discover that peace isn't about having more, it's about needing less. So today, before you chase the next goal, before you drown in another to-do list, stop. Ask yourself, what can I release right now? Maybe it's that grudge you've been carrying. Maybe it's the failure you keep reliving. Maybe it's the future you keep fearing. Empty your mind, make space, and watch how quickly life fills it with the things you've been waiting for. Because an empty mind isn't a weak mind, it's a free one. And freedom is the birthplace of everything you've ever wanted. Remember, you are not the noise in your head. You are the silence beneath it. Empty your mind and begin again.